Hello friends. Today we will discuss about the topic, first stock market in the world. So let's start. The first modern stock, for the Dutch East India Company, was traded on the New Brug in Amsterdam, the Netherlands in 1602. Initially only trading on that single company, the first derivatives were traded in 1607, with the first dividend distributions following several years later. The Amsterdam Stock Exchange was the world's first official, formal, stock exchange when it began trading the VOC's freely transferable securities, including bonds and shares of stock. Courtyard of the Amsterdam Stock Exchange, Beurs van Hendrick de Keyser, by Emanuel de Witte, 1653. History of the stock market. Stock markets are some of the most important parts of today's global economy. Countries around the world depend on stock markets for economic growth. However, stock markets are a relatively new phenomenon. They haven't always played an important role in global economics. Today, I'm going to share the history of the stock market and explain why stock markets have become the driving economic force they are today. Early stock and commodity markets. The first genuine stock markets didn't arrive until the 1500s. However, there were plenty of early examples of markets which were similar to stock markets. In the 1100s, for example, France had a system where courtiers de change managed agricultural debts throughout the country on behalf of banks. This can be seen as the first major example of brokerage because the men effectively traded debts. Later on, the merchants of Venice were credited with trading government securities as early as the 13th century. Soon after, bankers in the nearby Italian cities of Pisa, Verona, Genoa, and Florence also began trading government securities. The world's first stock markets, without stocks. The world's first stock markets are generally linked back to Belgium. Bruges, Flanders, Ghent, and Rotterdam in the Netherlands all hosted their own stock market systems in the 1400s and 1500s. However, it's generally accepted that Antwerp had the world's first stock market system. Antwerp was the commercial center of Belgium and it was home to the influential Van der Beurs family. As a result, early stock markets were typically called beurzen. All of these early stock markets had one thing missing: stocks. Although the infrastructure and institutions resembled today's stock markets, nobody was actually trading shares of a company. Instead, the markets dealt with the affairs of government, businesses, and individual debt. The system and organization was similar, although the actual properties being traded were different. The first modern stock, for the Dutch East India Company, was traded on the New Brug in Amsterdam, the Netherlands in 1602. Initially only trading on that single company, the first derivatives were traded in 1607, with the first dividend distributions following several years later. Stock markets were started when countries in the New World began trading with each other. While many pioneer merchants wanted to start huge businesses, this required substantial amounts of capital that no single merchant could raise alone. As a result, groups of investors pooled their savings and became business partners and co-owners with individual shares in their businesses to form joint stock companies. Originated by the Dutch, joint stock companies became a viable business model for many struggling businesses. In 1602, the Dutch East India Co. issued the first paper shares, according to Cambridge University Press. This exchangeable medium allowed shareholders to conveniently buy, sell and trade their stock with other shareholders and investors. A few of the oldest existing stock exchanges date back to this time and the others on this list are from the 19th century. Stock exchanges are still an integral part of the world's economy and the stock exchanges on this list are still going strong after several centuries. So that was our today topic that we discussed. Be connected to our channel for more informative videos. Thanks for watching.